Hello and an extremely warm welcome back to the channel, and I'm just having a bit of fun with the little 040 GWR loco. This is from the set R.694 we saw a few weeks ago, the GWR branch passenger set. Well, I've been up here now after many weeks of not using the layout, so I've just given it a bit of a clean up. And I thought I'd have a bit of fun running this little set round one of the main lines. It's really great to be back, and I'm looking forward to making some more videos showing items from my collection of vintage 1950s, 60s and 1970s model railway items. And now the weather's edging into autumn, it's definitely great to be back having a little bit of fun with some toy trains. Well, this set's just really enjoying going around the upward main line. I'm going to see if I can just reduce the power a little bit so we can get a slightly better look at it. Now it is an 040, so it's not really going to like the diamond crossing, I don't think, but the wheel spacing isn't greatly favourable for Super 4 diamonds, but we'll see how we go. There's one coming up just now. Well, that wasn't too bad, was it? And those little four-wheeled coaches with their silver seal wheels are making a nice noise on the main line. Okay, well, today it's going to be a train set we're going to look at, and I'm quite excited. I've looked back to the previous comments when we last had a video to choose a train set, and a lot of you have been quite pleased to see the blue Pullman set. That's R.555, and you voted for it, so I'm going to get that out on the test table in a little while, and I think I'm going to try and run it on battery power. So we're going to use the Super 4 track that's in the set and the little Hornby 00 battery controller. So I suppose I ought to think about getting on with that, but I am having quite a bit of fun with this very small loco. But it doesn't matter what size they are, does it? They're great fun. And it runs and looks superb, I think. Okay, well, I think I'm going to pull this into the station now. So let's just get on the controller and start slowing things down a bit. Excellent. Right, well, I'm going to move you over now to the test track table, and we're going to enjoy some fun with the Triang RS52 blue Pullman set. Okay, well, that's the little GWR all paused, and I've got tidied up. So let's take a look at some catalogues now. I've just got to thumb through because I think I've lost my space. This was the catalogue I showed you the set in, and it is RS52 blue Pullman train set. It says new there, very exciting. And I did say that perhaps this was its first appearance in the catalogue. Now, I think that's correct for the set itself, but a subscriber said to me that I need to check out this catalogue number 9, the 9th edition, because if I go to page 14, you can actually see, I think this is the first time the actual loco is shown, and it's given the number R555, and doesn't it look excellent? Now I'm just going to thumb through here, so just give me a second. On page 16, on the top of the page there, R426, and you have a Pullman parlour car type 6 new as well. So I haven't really been able to find all my price lists, but excuse me for sniffing, this one here from about 1965 has got the blue Pullman RS52 and it says 99 shillings and sixpence. And if I go right down here, I think there's R.556 and that's 13 shillings and sixpence. Well, I do indeed have one to show you here, the R.426. Let me just see, very faded on the end of the box there, but I think you can perhaps make out Pullman parlour car type 6, blue with seats, and there's the price, 13 and sixpence. So shall we take a look at it? Just a quick look. I don't think I'm going to run this, but it's just, oh, the packaging's so great, isn't it? We've got a ring here, and then let me just ease this out. Not quite as crisp as the items in the set, but nonetheless a nice model. And those crests, I hope you can see them just above the word Pullman there, and the lovely glazing. A really truly great item. It's got the pinpoints, plastic wheels with a good depth of flange, very Super 4 friendly. So a nice additional item, enabling you to sort of save up your pennies and buy a few more coaches and make a good long rake. Okay, let's have a look at the set then. Quite excited about getting this going. I'm just going to lift the lid. Really nice artwork on there, and you can get that elaborate crest on the front. Electric train set. Okay, well, let's just take a look at what we've got in here. This seems to have come off the packaging, probably looking here from there, the glue's just given way. I'm sure a little bit of paper glue will have that back on, but what a lovely item. All these labels, all the printing. Took some real care about preparing the packaging. That's just a servicing scheme. Lots of details of where, even all over the world. So we go from Yorkshire to Australia, but dealers help if you've got trouble, and that seems to be another one of the same. And here's the instruction leaflet, RS52, and the date on there 26th of June 1967, and lots of information about the motor bogie. Bit generic here because we've got pictures of other chassis as well, but some great information on these sheets just so that you can get your set up and running really with no trouble. And this is the 1967 catalogue, so I'm just going to see if I can quickly perhaps find a picture of the Pullman. So look, and there is the R.555 version with the 556 non-powered car, and let's see if there's a set in here too. I really think when the weather gets a bit cold we'll get in the house and take a look at some of these catalogues, because the pictures in them are just absolutely outstanding. Here we go. There is the RS52 set, and a great spread across 2 pages, and also we've got the Midlander with a little dealie, and powerful Class 37 Intercity Express with some, yeah, cream and chocolate coloured Pullman cars. So some great sets. And look in this box, well, it's just great to see Super 4 track that's almost in original condition. The plating on this is beautiful. This is original plating, and that gives you an idea of what this excellent track system looked like when it was in its prime. I really think it was probably one of the best model track systems ever produced, probably from there is a bit of rust there, just look at that. But from the view of realism, okay, the profile is not very good, but the sleepers look good, and it's absolutely lovely stuff to run vintage locos on. Now, I notice these straights have got a bit of corrosion, so I have got a bit of work to do to clean those up. But thankfully the curves are looking fairly good. But just look at this. Oh, I wonder if you can see that. Just a little bit of corrosion there, so right through the plating. I don't think it's going to affect the running. So what else have we got in this box? A power clip, and let's have a look. Oh, I love this cellophane. It's so crinkly. It's not sealed, so I think we're going to have a look at the items. It's been a few years since these have been taken out. Indeed, they might never have been taken out. Let's have a look. Put that safe. Well, I'm just looking at that, and I don't think there's ever been a coupling dragged across the top of that ramp. So, triang, and look at that, R.555, a beautiful mint uncoupling ramp. So I don't think I'll be using that today. And the power clip looks pretty good too. Let's just see if I can show you the printing on there. R4. Now, is that a 6 or an 8? I'm afraid that through the camera lens it looks a bit like an 8, but I could be wrong. And a really nice Super 4 power clip. If any of you are ever wondering what this bulge is on the top, there is a suppressor housed in there. So we've got a couple of accessories. First radius track, and it really is in quite nice condition. Let's see if we can find the markings. Just tricky to get it into the... Oh no, you see they've been obliterated. You can just perhaps see where it did say triang, but some of these sets, some of the track that was designed to go into catalogue sets or starter sets, they actually obliterated the numbers on them. Don't know why, because it still says made in England. What about the straight? Let's just try and get that into focus. Yeah, and you can see that that's been defaced, so we've just got made in England on there. But take it from me, these are standard sections of Triang Super 4 track. Okay, let's have a look in here now. And just like the coach we saw earlier, this is quite a crisp version. And look at those axles, still nice. Not much running on that, if any. So that's going to be definitely used. Which is this one? I think this is the dummy car. Just so light, but so beautiful. And there's the crest. Really stand up well today, don't they, these models? You know, from a distance you look at them and you think quite an attractive. Lots of panel lines, grills, detail on there. They really worked hard to produce something that looked good. And here's the power unit. You can see that I have given this a bit of a service. There's some white grease, because if you let these worm gears, when they're brass worms and brass gears, run too dry, you'll just get a handful of really fine brass powder, because they eat each other. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to pause the camera and perhaps just take the top off this to show you the condition of the power bogie. So let me just get that out. Always good to start taking something apart. Flat bladed screwdriver. Remove this really nice brass screw, and that enables me to separate the top from the bottom of the locomotive. Now I have just got this to try and show you, hopefully. A little bit difficult on the camera, but there's an S number in there, and I think that's possibly 6, let me just try and get the light favourable, 6445, the S numbers being the spare part numbers or subsection numbers, so you could buy parts to mend your locos. And here's the chassis, free running pinpoints. I've taken the motor bogie out to show you in a second. Look at these seats, the seating units, little bits of brass to represent the table lamps, all turned. A lot of attention to detail. And yes, there's a S number there, R.694. Right, so here's the little power bogie. That's just held to the chassis with one screw. I'm just going to pop that in there so I don't drop it. You can see it's got a nice shoulder on it there, so this can articulate. Now you can see the white grease I've got into the worms. Minimal of servicing. Just cleaned the commutator a little bit. Plenty of life on the brushes. So simple. Big magnet there. Let's give it a bit of a test. I haven't remagnetised this. Still quite strong. Got that screwdriver well. I think I've mentioned this in previous videos. You know, it's not a cure-all situation getting your neo magnets or thinking that you can make any motor run with a fantastically strong magnet. The magnet needs to be matched to the windings in the armature, and stronger magnets don't always equate to better running automatically. And to be quite honest, I haven't fitted any neo magnets to any of my models. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have one of Ronald Dodd's remagnetising tools, but I think these magnets are perfect. And we do only have a 3-pole armature in here, so no. It's a vintage item, and they ran well when they were new, and with a little bit of love and attention they can still run very nicely today. Look at the attention to detail on this. Let me see if I can just bring this into view. Point with my screwdriver. These little foam or slightly felt pads at each end next to the armature bearings, so you can get a little bit of oil into those pads, and then not too much. We've got a little bit of corrosion on the bogie there, but I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed just checking out that. It's really small, isn't it? Just look at that. That is all that makes this locomotive go along. And of course, we were talking about the little 040 going over the diamond crossing. Look, there's the pickups. We've got the return or the negative on these two wheels, and the power going in from these two wheels via this pickup spring, and that's the only way the current gets to the motor. So if these aren't absolutely pristine, you're going to get stalls over points and diamonds, but we're not going to worry about that. If you look back to one of my earlier videos, I've had one of these at high speed on the Super 4 layout. In fact, I'll leave a video link in the description box, and once you get up to a certain speed, you don't really need to worry about continuity issues. They glide or sort of zoom over any problem on the track. Right, well, I'm going to screw this back together, have a go at removing the worst of the corrosion on that Super 4, and then we'll see how it goes. So join me in a minute when we'll get this R.694 blue Pullman set running round a ring of Triang Super 4 track. Okay, well, everything is reassembled. The track's had a little bit of a clean. I have indeed decided to use the track power clip that came in the set, and look here, my trusty batteries still have a bit of life in them. We've got the little Hornby 00 battery controller, and on the Super 4 track, the blue Pullman. So let's see if I can just get the controller into view, and there's some power, and immediately it bursts into life. And listen to that bogie. I forgot to mention when I showed it to you that it's got the really great triangle knurled wheels, so they've got knurled marks and they sort of grip into the track quite nicely, but they make this distinctive noise. It's a great noise. Let's put more power on. Getting up to some good triangle speed now. I am aware that I think my batteries are at last starting to show signs of wear, but look, we're still rushing around this track. Let's go to full. I'll just back up a bit so you can watch this. Just an amazing piece of 1960s model train manufacture. No hesitations. Running today the same as it would have done when it was received in 1967. Okay, well, I want to have a bit of fun with this controller now, so I'm going to see if I can get it down to a stop. And we have got the power car on the right of the picture as you're looking at it, so let's try a little bit of reverse running. So that's the non-powered car and that's the power car there. So dare I try and run this at full speed in reverse? Well, if anything, it's travelling slightly faster in reverse, but that's not having any trouble staying on the track, is it? Let's just not tempt fate and slow this down a fraction. I'm going to see if I can get this onto the lowest setting that the little Hornby 00 controller will allow. Right, so it's off, and then so we're not going to have any fantastic slow speed running today, not with this controller anyway. So let's get it going in the other direction. Just love this old stuff. Just easing this round. Away we go. I think this is probably one of the most iconic sets from the Triangle period. A lot of you have mentioned either wanting or receiving one of these back in the day, and I can see why, because I can just imagine what it would be like having this modern looking loco tearing round at top speed. Very impressive. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed taking a look at this latest set on the channel. I've had great fun getting this recommissioned, and I've really enjoyed making this short video to show you about the set and my views on it. I'm just going to leave this going round now for a little while longer for you to enjoy. But until the next video, I'd like to thank you for looking at the videos on the channel. I look forward to reading any comments you may have. And until next time, I'll say goodbye.